fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. I live on the most beautiful tree-lined street that you can imagine. The lawns are manicured, the puppies are well-mannered, and the police come within 2 minutes. They patrol 24 hours a day, and in fact, I know most of them by name. I live in Beverly Hills. There, I said it. Because normally when I say that, people say, "Oh, it must be nice." It's better than this. It's fabulous. However, like all of you that have ever rented, I have trouble in paradise. I have the cheapest landlord in the history of the world. He raises the rent every opportunity he gets. He will not fix anything unless it's required by law. He is not loved and adored by any of the tenants. But the people in the building are generally very nice. Now, when I first moved in, there was a lady that lived upstairs who we refer to as Crazy Jean. Now, she was crazy and old 17 years ago, and it has gone rapidly downhill since then. And you'll recognize it, because she's the tall, gruff lady wearing a house coat, house slippers, and of course she's got the mandatory Ralph's cart in our dear little backyard. She also is the most contrary person alive. So if the landlord ever decides to finally get the trees trimmed in the backyard, so there's a glimmer of sunlight, Jean will be down there bucking at those poor workers. "Move that tree to the left, the right, up, down." And then she will complain that they did it on the wrong day, and of course they didn't do it properly. So we cannot please Jean, nor do we try. About 4 years ago, we had trouble with vagrants that happened to want to live in our landing. Now, our landlord was too cheap to put a lock on the front door, so they would just come in at all hours of the day or night and leave whenever they felt like it. And as good as the police were, once we ran into one of the vagrants, they would take off and the police would miss them by 30 seconds, and the whole rigmarole would start again until finally, they went out. Things returned to normal. Paradise was back. Now, if you remember, in January we had those terrible rains. It was torrential raining. And at that time, I had decided to start propagating succulents. And if you know anything about succulents, they don't like the rain. Therefore, Janine carefully brings all the succulents into her apartment, and the ones that wouldn't fit, I laid on a big fluffy towel lovingly in the hallway, where they were safe from everyone, especially the rain. Well, it turns out that the homeless also needed shelter from the rain. So day one, my favourite upstairs neighbour hears 2 men talking in the hall at 4 a.m. Not good. Day 2, I walk out and there's trash in the landing upstairs, there's trash right outside my door, and trash that I'd really not rather share with you. It was not pretty.
Oh.
It was number 2 in a bag, let's just say that. So every woman at Oakhurst was on high alert. And one night, Monday night, it was particularly rainy and particularly cold. And I was just pottering around in my apartment, as you do at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I heard a gigantic crash outside my doorway. Well, I ran out like a charging bull. Now, as it turns out, Crazy Jean had come down to collect her mail, run into the vagrant who was sprawled out enjoying a hamburger with french fries on the side, and she scared the living daylights out. He picks himself up, rushes out the hall, but meanwhile trips over all my plants. When I walk out, I see a very sad vagrant, plants everywhere, broken pots everywhere. He looks at me, I look at him, and I'll tell you, you've never seen anyone snap out of a morphine, a morphine nap than this guy when he saw my face. Meanwhile, Crazy Jean is standing at the top of the stairs, and she looks down and she looks right at me and she says, "What are those plants doing there? They're dangerous." Then she says to our unhappy friend, "Are you okay? Do you need an umbrella?" The withering look I gave her was only better than the look that the vagrant got. He was out of there in 30 seconds. Now, it's a few months later, pot plants are cleaned up, they're happy again, they're not in the hall right now even though it is raining. The landlord ponied up for a $20 lock so you can't get in and out after all of that. And Jean continues to be crazy and haunt the hallways of 90210.